Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to do this Halloween sugar skull inspired makeup with both your scary side and your normal side. So let's get started. The first thing that I did was I primed and put foundation on my face, and I set it with a powder. And then I went through and I did my normal bronzer just on this half of my face. Now, if you want directions on how to do that and go about getting that done the way that I do it, what you're going to do is you're going to click over to my Everyday Rockabilly tutorial, and that'll show you what exactly I use and how I put it all on. So then after that, we're going to go through and we're going to take my standard primer that I use, the Kat Von D High Voltage Primer. I find that this primer works better than any other eye primer that I have ever used, and it doesn't irritate my eyes, which a lot of other primers do. So I'm going to take this primer and I'm going to go and prime this eye as I normally do, and then this eye I'm going to prime all the way up and over my eyebrow and a little bit under. So it's going to be the whole area that's going to create the eye socket for the sugar skull. We're going to put primer on there, and it's going to keep it locked in place. The reason that we're only doing the normal amount on this eye is because this is just going to be a normal eye. We're going to want it to look really pretty and really attractive.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so now that we're good and primed, from here we're just going to let this be for now. We're going to do this after we finish all of the other skull makeup. And we're going to start with outlining the socket of the eye that we're going to have as black space. Now, for the majority of this, I'm both going to use gel eyeliner and a black eyeshadow powder. So I just have this Wet n Wild Fergie liner. I got it at Walgreens. It's not very expensive. That's why I picked it. It's going to be better than any kind of costume makeup that you're going to use. It's going to stay better, but I don't necessarily, it doesn't need to be very expensive. So it came with this little brush, and I'm just going to use that to get some on there, and I'm just going to outline the whole area that I'm going to do. Now you're going to want to go up and over your eyebrow. You can follow, like I am, your exact eyebrow line. The reason that you're going to do this is because it's easier than trying to cover your eyebrow and make it look flesh tone. It's a lot easier to make it just black like the rest of it. So now that we're outlined, we're just going to go through and we're going to even it out to make sure that it looks right. So now we're going to fill the whole thing in with this black. Don't be concerned about getting an opaque kind of cover. We're going to set it with a powder. It's going to even out the tone. We just want to give it a solid base for that powder to sit on. You're going to want to make sure that you go through and get your waterline, because that's going to be something that'll stick out if you don't. So now that we have that done, we're just going to go through and we're going to set with a black eyeshadow. I have this black eyeshadow in a Kat Von D palette that I have, so I'm just going to use that. It's a good solid matte. You don't want anything that has any kind of shimmer to it, because then your whole eye is just going to look like sparkly. So then I just use this fluffy brush that I have, and I'm just going to go over the whole thing, set all of it with the powder. So now that that part's done, we're going to go through and we are going to do the white parts of the petals. Now for this, you can either use, I have this Color Tattoo Eye Studio, it's a kind of like a cream eyeshadow, or you can use a white eyeliner pencil. Now, for me, I prefer to use this cream shadow for the petals and the white eyeliner pencil more for the precision work. It just works out better for me that way. So I'm going to take this eyeliner brush. I'm going to take that and I'm just going to get a good amount on here. And I'm going to just start making petals. Now you're going to want to leave a little space between them for the little wisps between the petals, but they don't need to be uniform, just make kind of what a flower petal would look like. now that we've done that, I'm just going to go over again with my Wet n Wild gel liner and just kind of fix anywhere that I got a little bit of white in there. Don't worry too terribly much. It's easier to cover white than it is to cover black. So now I'm going to use this tattooed waterproof eyeliner. It is by a company called Scone Cosmetics. They sent this to me in my Ipsy bag this month, but I find that it does really awesome precision work because it's got this really fine tip on it. So it's nice to do, last year I used just a liquid eyeliner from e.l.f. that I ran out of. But so it's nice to do precision work with a very, very fine tip. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through, we're going to outline each of the petals and then a couple wisps around. And make sure that you rest your arm on something. Right now I've got my arm resting on my leg so that your hand is very steady. You don't want to shake a lot during this because it's going to show. Back in with my Wet n Wild Fergie, and I'm just going to use this fine brush that came in my brush kit, and I'm just going to use this to make the dots in the center of each petal. So now that I have those in place, I'm going to go back with that tattoo liner and I'm going to create the little wisps between. Okay, so now this whole eye area is done except for we are going to do our lashes here. You want them to fan out a lot. This is going to give it, especially in this, a very pretty defined look. Now if you're a guy and you're trying to accomplish this look, I would say leave the petals off, and obviously you're not going to do the lashes. I would try to smudge up the edges a little bit so that it looks a little bit more rugged. But for me right now, I'm just doing the girl look. I might venture out and do a male later. So I'm just going to take my lashes, my strip of lashes, and I'm going to put lash adhesive on them. Now I don't use lash adhesive all the way, I just kind of try and get the edges. This is going to help it not get so stiff on your eye. Let it dry a little bit, let the glue dry a little bit, and we're going to stick it out of the corner of the eye. I'm doing this now so that if there's a problem, we didn't do our whole face of makeup and smudge it up with our hand trying to get the eyelashes on. Okay, so then I place it, and I push it in, and I just take the back of my tweezers, and I just sort of use that to push it in. So now we're just going to let that sit. We're going to go through and touch up where the glue is, and we're going to go through and put mascara on that later. But for now, we're just going to let it sit, let that glue dry. So now I'm going to start by outlining the nose part. I'm going to use, again, that tattooed liner that I used to do all the precision work, and the reason that I'm doing this is because the line on the top of your nose is going to be a lot more precise than it is on the outside of this. The reason I did the outside of this in the gel liner rather than in this tattoo liner is just because it's, you know, we went over it a couple times and it doesn't need to be as precise. This one's going to be more precise, and we are going to fill in with the gel liner, but this is going to be easier for us to outline where the nose is going to be. So if you just find the center of your nose, you're going to want the side closest to your sugar skull to be higher than the side closest to your normal face. So we're just going to find the center of our nose, and then we're going to make a U with this side higher and this side lower. So from here, we are going to just outline the line of our nose. And from here we can take it back with the gel liner. Okay, so the same way we did with our eye, we are going to, we're going to fill in the nose with the liner, and then we're going to set with the powder. Now we're going to go back over with the powder like we did on our eye. And I'm also going to take this kind of finer, more flat brush it's an eyeshadow brush. I'm going to take that and I'm going to go along the tops of these spikes in your nose. That way that sets too, and it also gets a pretty even tone. Okay, so that's it for the nose. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take and do the slit down the side and the stitches. I'm going to start with my white eyeliner pencil, and I'm going to just draw the line of where I'm going to go with that. I like it to be kind of wavy. I don't like necessarily a straight line. I like it to kind of follow my cheekbone. So now we're going to take our gel liner and we are going to go right underneath that. That's going to give it kind of the extreme exaggeration so that it looks like you could stick your hand in there. Now I'm going to take that flat brush again that I used to go over the points of my nose, and I'm going to take a bit of the black eyeshadow and I'm going to smudge down from that black line. Again, kind of giving it a shadow. Okay, so now we're going to take our tattooed liner and we are going to go through and make the stitching. Again, I like this because it is good for precision. Now when you make the stitching, make sure that you rest your arm on something so that your lines are straight. Also remember you're going to cap it off with a dot at each end so it looks like an entry point. Okay, so now I'm going to stop here so that I can do the mouth stitches and so that they're nice and even and I don't have kind of like a wonky angle so that I can space this out better right there. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to make this eye look really pretty. I am going to use the same palette that I used this black from. That way we have a good solid kind of tone to it. I'm going to take just my normal everyday fluffy double-ended brush and I'm going to use this silver, and I'm going to go over the lid of my eye. Okay. Then I'm going to take this gray, and I'm going to go just right in the crease and then a little bit on the side of the lid. Okay, and then I'm going to take the fluffy end and I'm just going to smudge that out a little bit. And then I'm going to take the darker gray and I'm just going to go right in this little V on the side. And smudge it out. Now that that's done, I'm going to take my normal eyeliner and I'm just going to line my eye with a bit of a wing on the side. Again, if you want to know how to do winged eyeliner, if you have any other questions about rockabilly makeup, you can just go to my other Rockabilly Everyday tutorial. I show you how to do a basic wing and how to do a basic eye makeup. This is a little bit different than that. And now I'm going to put on that other set of lashes. So while this is drying, I'm going to go over any kind of area that smudged up while I was putting this lash on, just with the black powder. And then to make sure that my lashes are all adhered to the other lashes, I'm going to just take my standard mascara and I'm just going to give a once over coat just so that everything is good and together. This is our completed look with our sugar skull side and our normal side. I hope this was helpful for you. If you want a really great hairstyle to go with this, take a look at my standard heat pin curling video. It'll walk you through how to do a standard pin curl set that leaves one side of your hair up and the other side mysteriously draped over your face. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have questions or comments, please put them in the box below and hit the subscribe button because I have more tutorials coming for you. Thank you so much and I'll see you guys next time. Annie Mae says this is a scary hair, scary makeup. She says I don't like the scary makeup. He's so scary.